And then I also wonder about their biology. You know, do these beings breathe? Do they eat? Do they sleep? Do we have any kind of indication along those lines?
Right. I think in terms of the aliens, once again, that I did a little sort of, and once again, these are just amateur studies, but I did a little study which I wrote in Secret Life about indications of whether abductees breathe. And when you take a look at them, if they do breathe, they have a very, very, very small heart-lung capacity there. They have no chest to speak of, and we don't see an in and out as if they were air breathers and you know, inhalers and exhalers. Abductees have confirmed when they're very, very close to them, they don't feel breath on their face, for example, or anything like that, nor do they see that in and out movement. When we take a look at the mouth structure, there's a little slit there and little tiny holes for the nose. There is no credible evidence for these small gray beings that their mouths are functional. We don't see the apparatus for swallowing in the throat, nor do we have any indication there's an esophagus or a stomach. A profile of these small gray beings is always fairly flat. We don't see a little paunch, maybe somebody overate or just finished eating or something like that, or anything like that. And there's other indication now that we've had that these are not air breathers, nor do they ingest fuel through their mouth and into a structure that would process food in the way in which humans do. In other words, I think that once you get beneath the skin of these small gray aliens, that there are some fundamentally different processes at work. But now I will say something that militates against that. One of the things that I've looked at that makes no sense whatsoever is the description of these small gray beings. And people say, well, you know, there's this little slit mouth, and there's a structure there of some sort for the nose, and holes for the ears and all that. Well, if they don't eat or breathe, why do they have a nose and a mouth? Now, one can make the case, well, maybe this is vestigial, maybe this is evolutionary, and it's like our appendix, and it's no longer used, and in the previous... Perhaps that's the case, and we don't know that, but certainly that's a theory that makes some sense. However, I had one person say that they had told her, and this is only one testimony, so I can't really say it's absolutely true, although I did include it in my book, The Thread. I put that in, but because I know the woman so well, and I know how careful she is, and I worked with her for so long, that I know how reliable her information is, saying that in fact that these small gray beings were an initial hybridization program which dealt with humans and these insect-like creatures. And these are non-reproducing, essentially, beings that are being used for a specific purpose, and there are lots of them. And I realized, oh, that's why there's this little nose and which should not be there, because the insect-like ones don't have that. And so then suddenly I realized, well, this might be the answer to that. Now, I don't know whether it is or not, but that's another theory I think that we have to look at, that these small gray beings are in fact also in odd form of hybrids that are being used for other purposes. And it also militates to the fact that the insect-like ones are the ones in control. You know.
So there appears to be a kind of continuity from the insect ones through the grays and then now into the hybrids.
In a way, that's true. And you know, one of the more astonishing things about all that I'm saying here is how, when we hear all this testimony, you see how it's fitting into place. They're filling, people are unconsciously fitting in pieces here and there and gaps in our knowledge that take us in directions that we were just totally unaware of, and yet you have person after person who begin to fill in all these things, and suddenly you begin to get this picture of what's going on here, what this means, and it's all internally consistent, and there's no, we still have obviously much more to go, and many more things to flesh out, but we're getting to, we can see this picture, I think now, we're getting to that point where we can see the picture.